Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
First world, come in and take a seat. Pay us no attention, it's all conspiracy. We have satire and parody, some funny, some perverse. If none of it's offensive to you, you'd be the first. kill till I die. And kill till I die.
The Madness Comic Network and comic-related madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt on YouTube.
Good morning. It's Tuesday. I am here with some coffee from the Tuesday Morning Brew. It's Laurie Calcaterra, your hostess with the mostest, writer, creator of Path of the Pale Rider. People, I am so excited for today's show. Not only do I have a fabulous guest who I've been itching to have, when we scheduled this, it was like a month and a half ago, and I've been seeing other stuff happening with this guest, and I'm just like, okay, when is it my turn to talk to Madeline? So today is the day. But first, Path of the Pale Rider, our books for issue 2 have finally printed. They went through the printer on Sunday and Monday. Sunday being my birthday, so happy birthday to me. Some books got printed. So should be getting those sometime this week, probably the end of the week. And then I will be furiously shipping all of the books out to all the backers so we can get the books in hand and then we can start working on the next one. If you haven't signed up for the pre-launch for issue number 3, the pre-launch is live. All you're doing is pushing a green banner that says, notify me upon launch. So when we hit the go live button, it sends you an email that says, hey, this project is live, and you can jump on and pick out which reward you would like. Typically I do a launch party where we'll go through the Kickstarter and everybody can kind of see what's in there so you can have an idea. So when the button gets pushed, you can go grab your stuff. What's up, Max? Good morning. John, my favorite. How are you? Good morning. Thank you. Happy birthday, Dawn. We're probably the same age. Good morning, Lee. Wow. Good morning, everybody. Well, nice to see everybody. What was I going to say? Oh, some of these things in my Kickstarter that are coming are so exclusive. Like one only has 4, one only has 5. And of course, those are the cooler things. So if you're into cosplay, into Funko Pops, make sure that you sign up for a pre-launch, because when I push that button, those items are going to go quick. Those Big James Funko Pops, I can only do 5. And then that's it. Those are the only 5 that'll be out there besides mine and the one from last campaign. Yeah, everybody wants those. So just good stuff coming. Just keep your eyes on the social media posts. Stuff is live. The riddle is live. The short film is still filming. If you have film that you want to add to my next short film, talk to me, send it to me, WeTransfer it to me. I need it because I'm going to be editing this week, next week. Hopefully it'll be done before this launch, but no guarantees because I want to make sure it's good before. Thank you, Lee. This year is my meaning of life year, which means I'm 42. Yeah. Anyway, let's bring in the guests. So everybody say hello to Miss Madeline Holly-Rosing. Hello.
Hi. Don't mind the half gloves. I get cold.
We were just talking about that. You are in California, but it's cold there right now.
It is cold here. No more snow where I am. Actually, I felt kind of left out because Burbank got snow, Glendale got snow. My neighborhood, we got maybe a few flakes, and that was it. And so we feel really left out that we didn't get any snow, but we still got lots of snow up in the mountains, which is good for the drought. So yeah.
Hopefully, as it melts, it'll start to trickle down into those areas that need it.
Yeah, well, it helps fill the reservoirs and the water tables. And last time I heard, 17% of California was now out of a drought.
Oh, thank goodness.
Well, that's something nice. I don't expect this to solve everything, but it helps.
Yeah,
it definitely helps.
It's been weird weather everywhere. Like we had that big storm here in Dallas, and then it went north, and then it hit like my family in Michigan. Everybody, pops. Everybody was out without power.
Hmm.
It was, it's scary to lose power when it's that cold. Just because it's like, okay, how am I gonna? How long is it gonna be out? That's the
Yes,
question.
yes, yes.
Get out the sleeping bags and the fire pit for outside and all that good stuff. But I'm thankful to be in Texas because we get the storms, but we don't get the snow.
Mhm.
When we do get the snow, we lose power too. So
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
that. Let's talk about your exciting career and all the things that you're working on right now. So introduce yourself to the viewers, just in case
Sure.
anybody is unaware of who you are and what you do.
Sure. I am the writer-creator of the steampunk supernatural graphic novel, prose, and audio drama series, Boston Metaphysical Society. And if you're not familiar with the story, it's about an ex-Pinkerton detective, a spirit photographer, and a genius scientist who battles supernatural forces in late 1800s Boston.
I
We
love it.
started with a 6-issue miniseries with art by Emily Hugh, which is now what we call our Volume 1 or complete series trade paperback. Then we went on to do 4 standalone sequels with art by Gwen Tavares. And that eventually we also put into a trade paperback. We compiled all 4 of those. That's what we call Volume 2. And each of those volumes has also bonus stories with some terrific artists. Volume 2 has a short by Roberta Ingranata, who's currently doing Doctor Who from Titan Comics.
Okay.
And Roberta also did the cover for Volume 1. And Marguerite Savage did the cover for Volume 2. And we currently have on Kickstarter our brand new miniseries, Mystery at Pikes Peak. It's a 4-issue miniseries, and we currently have up there issues to print issues 1 and 2. And we've got some fabulous. We're doing variant covers for the first time,
Really?
and also metal covers. And I have a whole new team on board that are absolutely fabulous. Elizabeth McKedza is doing the interior art. Katie Brown is doing the coloring. The main covers are done by Angela Wu, and she's just doing an amazing job. And we have some variants, one from Rio Burton and one from Steph C. And if you notice a trend there, they are all women.
Yes. I was like, yay, go us.
Well, I mean, I'm the one who writes the check, so I get to make
Yeah.
those decisions. And
True.
it's been an absolute joy working with all of them. It's just, the creativity they brought to the universe has just been amazing, and I'm so happy with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, Carissa and I were kind of fangirling about you yesterday. We were talking about all your
Hi,
accomplishments.
Carissa.
We were like, wow, like this is hashtag life goals right here, people. This is what I hope to be doing years from now, is to have this many books and this many successful campaigns and be able to write the checks. Just amazing. So when you started this story, what year was it?
Oh, actually, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
The original story was probably at least 20 years ago.
Okay.
It was a TV pilot that I wrote while I was at UCLA Film School that I then later adapted into graphic novel format. The original thinking was that I was going to use it as marketing material to take back to Hollywood for a TV show or whatever. But a funny thing happened during all of this, and I discovered I really like writing comics. I love the indie creator community. So I'm like, okay, I found my happy place. So
Oh,
here
that's
I am. And I
amazing.
just kept going. And Boston Metaphysical is a huge, deep universe. So I can go anywhere my creativity wants to go, whether expand the world of our original characters, or if I want to go off on tangents with some of the supporting characters, which I've done in the prose.
Mm-hmm.
Because prose, different mediums have different pros and cons. So it's nice to be able to do like a short story or novella that focuses on one of the supporting characters, or someone you just barely meet, and then you get to go and flesh out what their story is.
Yes, that I'm 100% agree with you, because I came kind of from the same place where I was in production, and when I wrote my script, it was a full-length movie, and had no idea I wasn't in film school, so I just had no idea what to do with it, and decided it would be much better served as a comic. So had to go through that process of turning, a massive script, breaking it up into issues, and then here we are producing it. But same thing, like I did a choose your own adventure book.
Oh, okay.
Which is fun, but where the reader can go is to meet some of these side characters in my story and interact with them based on their choices. So again, still, I love the idea of like, this character is being fleshed out in a separate side story. And then when you put them together, the reader gets a much better experience of, who that character is. And sometimes they even have like foreknowledge about, is that even a word, about who that character is. So then when your main story gets to them, you're like, oh my gosh, it's that person. And you almost have a better idea of what's going on with that character than what's happening,
The ancillary stories, though they're, it sounds like yours are standalone, mine are standalone as well. What they serve is they enrich everything. So if, I know some people prefer graphic novels, some people prefer prose. But I know what we do. We have a thing at cons. I actually have it on the Kickstarter as well. But at cons, I have what I call a starter kit, which is volume 1 and the novel Storm of Secrets, because that provides the foundation for the whole world. And you get your graphic novel fix and you get your prose fix all at the same time.
Interesting. I like it.
and if they're new to the world, it's like a great place to start, because you get a much more with the novel, you get all the little details of the background of the world that you can't flesh out. You do your best in a graphic novel, but you are limited,
right,
because of the medium.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're typically visual, and then you only get like the word bubbles. You don't really get all the description of everything that's going on or the thoughts that are in someone's head. It's difficult, to fit it all on one page. Now that's two completely Hello? Facebook user Laurie. I don't know who you are. It's probably Tom Rapka. He likes to come on and it always says Facebook user as Tom from T3 is my guess. But those two writing styles are so different. How did you start in one and then decide to tackle the other? Did you have a writing background from school? Like, they're so different.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have an MFA in screenwriting, so I guess the answer would be yes.
Yes. Yes to all.
yes to all.
Yeah, God, that's awesome.
And prose. I've written in a bunch of different mediums now, because I've also written in audio drama, and that's a whole different ball game. But I like doing different mediums. I like, even within the mediums, I like doing different things. Like during the pandemic, just to keep myself sane, I was doing a lot of flash fiction just to get ideas on a page and continue writing, because we couldn't do any cons. We're like, and that's also when we did the audio drama, because we could do all of that remotely. So that's when we produced that. That's fabulous really cool. Team on that too. Just amazing.
You just did what? What was that?
We did the audio drama, and the team was just fabulous. So kudos to my production team and to the actors who came on board. They did a tremendous job. But it's just, to me, it's just a lot of fun. And if you get stuck in something, in some story somewhere, it's like, okay, I have this idea for this little flash fiction, go write that, and then go back to the other project, because it kind of flushes out your brain. And
because we all get stuck. Like I'm still stuck on this fight scene that I was writing, and it was really funny because it's kind of I didn't know how to get past this one part, which I had like a couple paths I could have one of my main characters go, and I was kind of stuck at which way I wanted her to go. But what happened is when one of my artists was designing characters in the Choose Your Own Adventure book that in this one fight scene, these characters overlap. So when he designed that character and I saw it on the page, it clicked. You know what I mean? So it's almost like sometimes you get stuck for a reason, and then like something inspires you to keep going. But it's like I needed to see what she looked like in this fight to really decide which way my character, how they would react to that character. So
I've actually been doing this so long now that I learned a while ago that if I have not necessarily stuck or just a question or something's not feeling right, that I've already written the answer and I didn't realize it. So I go back
and reread.
And my subconscious has already solved the problem. So I go back and I'm like, that's it. And then I bring that forward. So
maybe I just need to go back and reread sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of
times like you're away from it for too long because you know life pulls you into a bunch of. You're doing interviews, you're doing press, you're promoting, you're doing other things, and then you forget. Like, oh yeah, I'm a writer. I should sit down and write. So that's a good tip too. Get back and immerse yourself back in your own story.
Yeah, no, that can be, and because you just forget. So you do sometimes have to go back, and I actually have on the back burner a trilogy of novels that started about 35 years prior to this timeline of Boston Metaphysical that take place during what I call the House Wars, which is the equivalent of the American Civil War.
Nice.
And the first
prequel planned? 3 novels?
Yeah, it's 3. And the first one is written, but I haven't been able to get to the other 2 because I've been writing Pikes Peak. As you may or may not know, I was hired to write a story for Lady Mechanica, so I was writing that and running Kickstarters and doing a bunch of other stuff. So I think when this is over, this Kickstarter's over, I think I might actually be able to go back to that, but I'm going to have to reread everything. And I have no doubt that I'm going to change stuff too at this point, even though it's been edited by a professional editor. I mean, everything, it's in beautiful shape, but I'm going like, it's been so long now. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go change things now.
We all do it. It's artists are the same way. It's like they look at a panel and they're like, this is good, except I really am not happy with it anymore. That's like, my artist does it all the time where he's like, he looks and he's just like, nope, I need to do better. And I'm like, stop touching the thing. Like, it's okay. But we're the same way. I'm just like, what if I add this to the story?
Yeah, there's an old saying that perfect is the enemy of good enough.
Yes.
Because sometimes you just you need to get it out the door. It's done. It's fine. You're going to always nitpick it to death. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be something. I mean, I look back at the original 6-issue miniseries and go like, okay, I could have done da 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 da, but it's done. The art is locked. It's just time to move on and keep going.
My artist and I just had a meeting last week, and we were talking about the intro page to our issues, and we decided to go a whole different direction. So it's like, I'll go back and change issue 1 and 2 when I get around to it. So issue 3 will have something interesting and new on that intro page, because we usually have like a quote page and then there's a symbol, but it's like at this point, I don't think it serves the project enough. So what we came up with, see what I mean? So it's the same thing. It's like, it's still changing and still evolving, still learning.
Yeah.
So,
and it should. And, up to a certain point, because you always want to make things better, but at some point you have to get it out the door, particularly for Kickstarter backers and things like that. I mean, fortunately, we're in a very good place with Pikes Peak, and that issue 1 is done. I'm proofing it with my pre-press guy right now. So, editing make it all pretty.
Yeah. Are you sure you want to put that there?
Yeah. And Elizabeth, is currently working on 2. And Katie is actually coloring as soon as everything's done. Katie is coloring them. So it's things are moving along. Things never move along as fast as you want them to.
They never do. Or they do, and then like something happens. Like for me, it was like the printer. And it's like, I love my printer. They do a great job, but they were just so backed up. And I got there and I'm like, okay, it's like, let's go. And then they're like, you got a whole month ahead of you before we even get to your stuff. And I'm like, no. So it's like, even if you're making good time, something could just fall out from under your feet at any time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And anywhere from, and usually it's just scheduling. Troy Pateri is my letterer. He's basically the only guy on the project. But he's been with me since the very beginning. And I always want to, he's just marvelous. He's just so wonderful to work with. Actually, it was kind of a fun story. I met him at a convention when we were just starting out. We started out as a webcomic, and a friend of mine said, hey, you can have this little corner of my table just to hand out postcards. So I just stood there and I just handed out postcards about it. And she says, hey, meet Troy. He's a letterer. He might want to do your stuff. And I had brought a script with me, and I trusted her. She's Christina Strain. She's moved on to bigger and better now. So I handed Troy one of the scripts. He leafs through it. He goes like, yeah, I'll do this. I'm like, great. I have a letterer.
Yay!
Yay! And, little did I know how good he was. And it was tremendous. And he enjoys doing my stuff, but I have to squeeze in between. I'm the little indie, and he has big jobs, so I have to get squeezed in his other stuff.
It's like, okay, the book's done except for the lettering. We have to wait.
Wait.
It's how it goes. Oh man, someone just asked in the chat if I finally got my books yet. This week. The book's been done since the last week of January, but they printed Monday, or they finished on Monday, so I will be getting them this week, which is great. I'm really looking forward to that.
Are you using a US printer?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I know. I'm much too nervous to print overseas, for the reason of, well, one, I want to support people who are local, first off. But second off, it's like your books could get stuck in a port for 3 months and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's like.
Yeah, fortunately, I've never had that problem. So
thank goodness.
Yeah. No,
but I mean, like, we're not printing a ton like you are. I mean, we're still pretty new. So we can get away with printing local and picking them up instead of waiting the extra 3.5 weeks for shipping.
Oh. Yeah, I think the only time mine got stuck in shipping was in March or April or May of 2020.
Well, of course. That's when
literally, the books were done. The books were in boxes in the warehouse, ready to be shipped out, when the warehouse shut down due to COVID. Literally, they were supposed to go out the next day when they shut down.
No. I mean, what can you do? Nothing.
I just had to laugh. And of course, I let all the Kickstarter backers know. I said, well, the good news, the books are printed. They're in the warehouse, but the warehouse just shut down. And so I started getting all these little gifts from people, the one that says like this much, you were this close.
I know.
And so it actually wasn't too bad. It was about maybe a month to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
When they were shipped out, and it was fine.
I mean, that's not bad. I mean, especially like in the heart of the shutdown of the pandemic.
Yeah, I have absolutely no complaints about that at all. The fact that I got them within 6 weeks was like, I'm happy. So I think, I'm sorry, what?
I was going to say, were you fulfilling at that time, or you use a fulfillment place at this point, right?
No, we actually do our own fulfillment.
You do?
Do you see behind me?
I do. I was noticing all the boxes and I was like, this looks like you're fulfilling, but I'm not going to assume anything. That could be anything up there. It could be Christmas decorations.
We're actually the last two, my husband and I did the fulfillment, because prior to that, because we had a big jump in backers 2 years ago. And I was doing all the fulfillment myself up to then, and with the occasional package that he would do. But then he said, you know, you're going to be doing this for 4 months, so I'm going to have to help you. But
Yeah.
I've come up with a completely different plan for fulfilling this one. So yeah, I'm actually going to hire people to come over. We're going to set up tables in the front, going to pay a couple people, bring in lunch, and just crank out everything ready to go and just crank them out.
That's awesome. Hello, Nick. Good morning. I love that. I'm organized too. Like all my stuff is already organized. I just need the books.
You do need the books.
I need the books. And of course I have a show this weekend too. So I was like, I need the books before Friday. Well, technically I need them Saturday morning at the show. So
yeah. Yeah.
We're not cutting it close or anything.
Not at all.
Extra gray hair on this side. Thank you. It's like, well, they make hair dye for that, right? Whatever.
Well, if you live closer, I could recommend a hair colorist. So,
thank you. I'll fly out to California. We can hang out and get our hair colored together. Oh, goodness. Well, let me bring up your web page. What's this one?
Which one? You bring up the website or the Kickstarter?
The website.
Oh, the website. Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah,
I love this cover.
Yeah, that is the cover of issue 2 by Angela Wu.
Amazing.
Yeah, she's just done a tremendous job.
I love how it's moving in the background. I just recently redid my website and I'm nowhere as skilled as, you know, a professional, but this is like every time now I have my eyes on the website, like, ooh, look what this does. How can I do that? That's really cool.
I had mine redone about a year ago because it was about ready to implode.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it was time.
Beautiful. I love how it's like, this is now live on Kickstarter in green. Let's see if I click there.
Hopefully it'll
take you right to the Kickstarter. Isn't that beautiful? I will show it in a minute, but like, look. Okay. So I love how it's linked right to there. So if you click on this image, guys, it takes you right to the Kickstarter. But we have an about, we have comic, you know, character biographies. Ooh. So here's your characters. Samuel Hunter.
I actually need, those are our main ones. I will need to add to that. It needs to be fleshed out.
Yeah. Some more.
Because we've actually added another team member. Her name's Alma Bryant. And that didn't happen. Well, she is introduced in the second standalone called The Spirit of Rebellion.
Cool. Thomas Edison, Nicholas Tesla, and Harry Houdini are in this. Hello. Alexander Graham Bell.
They are only in the original 6-issue miniseries.
Yeah.
And then Tesla is in Scourge the Mechanical Man, and then he's not in the next 3, and then I actually bring him back in Pike's Peak.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was reading the Kickstarter page on your video. I was talking about Nikola Tesla. He's so interesting. Like he could have been a completely fictional character. You know, his life was so interesting. Look at all these comics. Oh. I have like 2. Look at this. Hashtag.
Yeah, well, those were that's a combination of the single issues and the standalones, and then you see the covers of the volume 2.
Yeah. Beautiful. Look at all this hard work. Look at this one. Ooh. Book of Demons, Ghosts and Demons.
Yeah, those are the single issues that Emily did, the ones above.
Beautiful and amazing. And then we have books. So these are the novels, correct?
Well, novels or short stories or novellas.
Gotcha.
Though actually the majority of the short stories and novellas are in Prelude, which is the one which says Prelude, Boston Metaphysical Prelude. That's an anthology. So that
That's fun.
includes all of those short stories and novellas, except for Here Abide Monsters. That's not in there. And then there's another one too, which actually isn't.
Look at this
anymore,
rat,
but-
people.
Yeah, Steampunk Rat is a novella, and it's probably the fan favorite.
Really? It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Look at it.
Yeah, the cover's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a coming of age story of one of the supporting characters when he was younger.
And the rat is his pet?
Well,
Or-
it's part of the story where he had rescued an injured rat and repaired it and gave it mechanical arms and legs and
Interesting.
trained it.
So the rat is now Nikola Tesla. No, I'm just kidding. But I just love of course, I love covers. I do variant covers for all my stuff, but it's just, I love to see artists tackle my world, you know what I mean? To like see what they think is interesting and breathe it to life. So to see all these beautiful covers and just amazing, it boggles my mind how much, work and effort and time has been put into these, the passion, the love. It's really amazing. Oh, Ghost Ship audio drama. Cool.
Yeah, Gwen Tavares did the cover art.
Yeah.
And that is our amazing cast. Yeah, it is a full cast, special effects, original music. It's like your old time radio play.
That's awesome.
And
I want to do one of those too. Is it broken up into like episodes, or is it just like one long?
Yes, it is broken up into episodes. There are 8 episodes. It's about 4 hours long, and the CD also includes commentary from the production team and the leads, the lead actors.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, look at these guys.
Yeah, HB, I guess I found through a comic acquaintance of mine, colleague, and we were his first credit. He is so good. I mean, they're all good, but the fact that this was HB's first credit was just astounding. And he got to play Thomas Edison, and oh my God, he was so great. He had so much fun. Of course, I had fun writing Thomas Edison too. So
of course, there's certain characters where you're just like, oh, I love writing this one because they're so fun, or like they cause trouble, or they're just snarky. Yeah, we just fall in love with that. But this is amazing. I'm looking to do something like this as well.
Yeah, I should warn you, it's a tremendous amount of work.
Yup. Compared to everything else that you've done, that's saying something, right?
Yeah, it's huge amount of work.
Well, I think I would only have 2 cast members. 2.
That will make it much easier.
Right? I was like, I can just imagine. Wait, let me go back. Like with this giant cast doing everything remotely. Whew, and then
that isn't all of them, because we had smaller roles too. So we had a total of 12 actors.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And then just importing all of the audio, having it edited and timed correctly. And
well, that's all. That wasn't me. That was Chip Michael, who was our director and audio engineer and composer. He wore many hats.
Wow.
And did a tremendous job.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he and his wife Eddie Louise wrote and produced another audio drama, which was on for 4 years, called Sage and Savant. It's a time travel steampunk story. So for those of your audience, you can go listen to that pretty much anywhere, your favorite podcast platform.
And there's a bunch, so that's cool. It's like if it's on all of them, you can still find it.
Yes.
So here's the chronology of all your books. Woo! But this is necessary when you have this many books and so many like standalones and other media, you know what I mean? This is so important for people to be able to, okay, if I need to start at the beginning, where do I want to start? You know? So this is awesome that you have this, because for anybody looking at your work, you know, your body of work, it's a lot, you know, in the beginning until like, okay, here's a roadmap. Here's where you start here. Or like you said, your starter kit.
The starter kit. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, you can do either volume 1 and Storm of Secrets, or you could do Prelude, the anthology. I mean, either one works beautifully to give you that foundation.
There you go, people. That's where you start.
Or you can buy them all.
I mean, you can, and they're all available here, right?
Yes. Yes,
like
they
if you go to comics or books, they're all listed as available. You can purchase. Very cool. Boop, boop. I keep clicking too quick. All right. So that was the chronology. Okay. So you have, these are all your previous Kickstarters?
That's correct.
Okay. That's cool. We'll take it to there. Oh, here's the thank you wall. This is smart too. I like this. I may steal this. Or it's like, say thank you to everybody who was a backer on those campaigns. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it keeps it in, perpetuity too. So
yeah,
it's really nice.
When you print the book, is there a thank you page or anything inside the book?
No, because everything is scheduled ahead of time.
I mean, yeah, it's hard when the book is like, it's pretty much done.
Yeah.
When you run the Kickstarter. So,
yeah.
Which I'm sure people would prefer.
I mean, I would love to do that in theory, but because of production schedules, it's just not possible.
This is true. You could always add it to just like the digital copy too. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't cost anything.
That's true.
Just, like,
yeah.
Put it in there. Wow, look at all these backers. Speaking of backers, I've been watching your Kickstarter. I saw that you guys got Project We Love with a beautiful cover. And, I just happened to click on it last night while we were talking and getting ready. Here, let me go back. Let me remove this guy. Let's go to here. Share this page. Just so people can see what's going on. And we'll go through and dive deep here. Here we are. Hello. Okay, so this is Boston Metaphysical Society Mystery at Pikes Peak issues 1 and 2. Your goal was 8,500. Hold on, let me whoop. Well, it didn't make it much bigger. That was silly. I was like, we could blow it up. It didn't work. For those of you who can't read the screen, it says 85. We just got a backer right then. That was amazing.
Yes, thank you, whoever that was.
So 8,500 was the goal. You're what, 6 days in?
Correct.
And you're at $15,273, which is holy blowing the top off of this. It's amazing. 515 backers. Bravo. This is kind of like, again, hashtag life goals for a lot of us. It's like, how do you get from where I am to where you are? That's what I want to know.
Well, remember, this is 10 years in the making.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of people
this didn't happen overnight.
Yes. Don't quit. Keep doing the suck. Keep, following your path, putting in the time. This is years. And well, I mean, your body of work speaks for itself. Look at how many things that you've done and how many things that you've kickstarted, so it's like people know your name, know your work, and here they are supporting you again, which is awesome. It just speaks volumes to you, the integrity of your Kickstarter, that you're always fulfilling. People keep coming back, and that they're here because the story is good and the art is beautiful. That's it, right?
Yes, all of that. But yeah, I at this point, people trust that I will deliver, and
Exactly.
and I do.
Yeah.
I think we've only been a month or two late on 2 Kickstarters, of which one was, as I told you, was the warehouse shipping problem in Canada, and another was just a scheduling.
Yeah.
And that's what you deal with it, but it all gets out the door in a pretty timely fashion. and that's important, along with just, trying to keep the quality of work high, and working with new artists and trying new things. It's an interesting process. And yes, I'm technically a crowdfunding expert, but I'm always but I'm also learning new things. I talk to other crowdfunders all the time. I mean, they're my friends, and we're always sharing information, and we're like, well, how did this work for you, and how did this work for you? And I study other people's campaigns who do better than I do.
Right.
I don't know it all. That's crazy to even think that.
Well, and things are always changing. It's like sometimes I find what worked in my last campaign does not work in the next one. You know what I mean? So it's always a matter of changing and finding things that people are looking for, something new. If you're doing the same thing every single campaign and people are tired of it, maybe try something new.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, this is the first time we've done variant covers. And since I've seen Kickstarters that have a gazillion variant covers, and I'm going like, I don't even want to deal with that fulfillment, because that makes my head explode. So I said, let's keep it simple. Let's see how people like it. We'll just have a variant cover for issue 1 and one for issue 2. That's it. And I thought, well, let's try the metal covers, but keep it very limited. So we have 25. That's it. There's not going to be any more. And I believe we're halfway sold out.
That's cool.
Actually, I think we're a little more than halfway sold out. I have to go check the numbers in the inventory.
We can go. Well, let's see.
Well, I have it on add-on as well, so I have to go into the back end. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But because some people have been adding on to others,
right,
and to other tiers, and this is the first time I'm doing Kickstarter add-ons, because I also know when Kickstarter first started using add-ons, I was informed that the back-end admin wasn't quite there yet, but now I understand it is, because Kickstarter is always trying to improve their game as well.
Right.
And they're always asking us, how can we improve? What can we do? And so yeah, I'm putting a limited amount of add-ons, which is the variant covers, the metal variant covers, and the Tesla coil pin. But then I'll be going to probably backer kit later on, where I'll have more stuff.
Gotcha.
So, I take that back. We also have the CD on as an add-on as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But we'll have the CD on backer kit too. So there's a lot of experimenting going on with this particular one, because I'm also going back to a multiple issue story.
Okay.
Because the last 4 were standalones, and which were nice. I like doing that, because people get the complete story. But then I thought, let me go back to something manageable, like 4 issues instead of 6 issues. 6 issues is no, we're not doing that anymore. And get it, because they're already written. So that's done. So though I constantly edit as art comes in.
Of course.
And yeah, there's many layers. People ask, well, how many times do you rewrite? It was like, however many times is necessary.
Right. It's like however many times I read it or I touch it. It's like I'm always finding something that could be better or adjusted or.
Yeah, and I'm working with new artists and colorists. I'm learning stuff from them as well.
Interesting.
So it's like, oh, okay, because they're asking questions like, okay, that's a really good question. Let me go figure out the answer.
But that's part of the fun too. I love that, where it's like you're acting with someone new and they bring something to the table that's never come to the table before.
Yeah, I've been having marvelous conversations with Angela Wu, our main cover artist. Yeah, and she was super excited, and I gave all of the cover artists a whole list, PDFs of everything. and background on everything, because it's been around for a while, and so there's a lot to digest, and so unlike with the previous artists where I was pretty much, this is what I want on the cover, this is this, and this. It was,
Yeah.
I gave these folks more broad strokes.
Yes.
And then they came back and are like, okay, this is fun. Let's take this and this and merge this, and and having all these conversations, and it's been delightful, and here we are with the end of the conversation, what you're looking at.
That's so cool. I have artists that are that way too, where it's like I will let them read the issue of what's going on in the issue, and then it's like, pick something that interests you from the issue and we'll talk about it, and then we can work together. Either that, or they'll come up with concepts to be like this, and I'll be like, okay, let me just fine tune what you're doing, like change the saying from this to this so it matches what's going on in the comic, stuff like that. But it's like I said, it's fun to see someone dive into your world and then create something based off of your characters, the crazy world, or the physics, or the steampunk aspect. Yeah. I think it's really cool, just to be like, oh, that's amazing, I love it.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, I've been learning a lot from them too, and I think as a creator you have to be open to that, yes. Particularly if you want to push to the next level. And right. Bringing Angela on board was she was very different than what I was accustomed to, but I thought, let's do this, and it was a good decision.
Yeah, I would say so. Absolutely. People are receiving the art very well. Let's watch the video.
Okay.
It's this one. Okay.
Yeah, you'll get to see me with my hair and makeup done.
My name is...
You're funny. Let me make this big. There we go.
Madeline Holly-Rosing, and I'm the writer-creator of the steampunk supernatural series, Boston Metaphysical Society. Welcome to our Kickstarter to print issues 1 and 2 of our brand new 4-issue miniseries, Mystery at Pike's Peak. If you're not familiar with the series, it's about an ex-Pinkerton detective, a spirit photographer, and a genius scientist who battle supernatural forces in late 1800s Boston. Our new story begins as our team flees the law in Boston and arrives at the only safe haven they can find, Tesla's experimental station in Colorado Springs. There they meet Tesla's unlikely partner, Mai Wee Chow, a scientist from the Great House Chow in California. But their stay becomes more complicated when an attempt is made on Tesla's life, and Caitlin's visions resurface in an unexpected way. Now the team find themselves caught in a web of intrigue and murder. I'm also happy to announce that we have a new artist on board by the name of Elizabeth Makedza, with coloring by Katie Brown and cover art by Angela Wu. And for the first time ever, we'll be offering variant covers by Rio Burton and Steph C. If you're new to the series, don't worry, as Volume 1 and 2 will be available in both print and digital versions. We'll also have a brand new lapel pin depicting the Tesla coil and special limited reward tiers, which include our audio drama, The Ghost Ship. The best part is that the first issue is done and the art for issue 2 is halfway completed. So please be sure to check out all of the reward tiers and pledge today. Thank you in advance for your support.
Ah, that's awesome. Oh, but I think your video, it checks off all the right things, like make an appearance, tell people who you are, talk about what's exciting, and then show, some of the inside of the comic, what it looks like, the beauty, the music, the animation, it all works really good. And it's 1.5 minutes. That there is a perfect video.
Yeah. Dean and I have worked together before. And he's a very talented videographer and cinematographer. Turns out he's actually the son of my hair colorist.
I like how it all comes full circle. Love it.
Well, it does. So I knew him when he was like little, and now he's like 20 something. Yeah. And so yeah, it's very easy. She does my hair and makeup, and then I walk into the next room, and then we do the video. And
one-stop shopping. It's great.
Well, it saves me so much time and effort, and he does such a tremendous job. I trust him completely, and we go back and forth on the edits, and it doesn't take too long. And he nails it. I like that he did the whole green glowy thing behind the text, and and I love the way he does the animation, and so yeah. I have good team.
Yeah.
Good team. And that's what you need. You do not create in a vacuum, no matter what anybody says.
Yep, I agree. It's like even if you can wear all the hats and you do all the things, you're not challenging yourself. You're not seeing new aspects of what can be done. You know what I mean? So you're exactly right. It's like you can create and you can get to a point where you have gone as far as you can go just because you're not looking at anything else. So it's great to be challenged, and it's great to have team members that can bring more to the table. And it's too hard. It's too hard to wear all the hats at some point.
You can't. I mean,
Mhm.
I have to, I'm going to have to farm out more of my work just so I can have more time to actually create and to write. And that's been the hard part is, I'm kind of on the budgetary thing where I can't quite afford to bring someone on, but I do farm out, things I absolutely cannot do, and bring on great people and pay them.
Yeah.
Yes, there's this big thing like pay people.
Yeah. Agreed.
Absolutely.
And it's like you can tell when something is done well. You really do get your money. You pay for what you get for, kind of saying. That
Yes.
when you spend the time and you find the right people and you pay them what they're worth, the project is so much better than just trying to. I hired this person because they're cheap. It doesn't always make it the best project. So
no, because it's a matter of trust, and they just take the worry away. Go in. Dean and I do the run through for what I call the talking head portion of the video. I write the script for both the talking head and for the animation, and select the images, and then we talk about if any changes or whatever. But I don't have to worry about it. I know the job is going to be done right, so that just takes a whole level of stress away.
Absolutely,
and that's worth it. That's absolutely worth it.
We could have a whole nother I want to take this time. We could have a whole nother conversation about how to remove the stress. That's a whole nother topic, right? Things that you can and should do to try and mitigate the anxiety and stress that goes along with self-production and self-promotion. And
yes, exercise.
Yep.
Very big. Yes.
Exercise for sure. And I think that for me, it's like going somewhere where there's nothing, you know what I mean? Even if it's just in my backyard and I leave my phone inside. So I don't have that temptation of like, oh, let's go check on the Kickstarter, or let's go check my emails, or let's go look at the webpage.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do, like going to the gym, because I keep the phone in the locker, locked up, and that phone is not with me. I have my audiobook.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah.
Gotta do it.
Nothing else is going to bother me.
I just want to say hi to Margene Holden. Hello. How are you? Thanks for watching. I love you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get back into this Kickstarter. I want to scroll through some of these rewards and take a look. And I love like you have updates right up top. So we are funded. Thank you, everyone. That's so awesome. And we've also unlocked stretch goals 1 and 2. Amazing.
Yeah, we've actually made stretch goal number 2. I haven't updated that. I'll probably do that later on this afternoon or early tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've actually made it. Our stretch goal number 2 was the 2 magnets, which we've made.
That's so cool. Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna blow away some more. It's like you have 24 days left. It's just
so we're gonna
holy moly.
I'll be updating that soon.
You're gonna have to create new stretch goals when you meet all your stretch goals.
Yeah, I have a list of stretch goals.
You okay? Oh, and I love well, see, I don't know if I can get away with this because I'm not big yet, but your stretch goals are secret, right?
Yeah, I do that. I know some people. I do that because it allows me flexibility. I'll put it that way. It allows me flexibility. I know what they are, but it just allows me flexibility, and it keeps it a little more exciting of like, okay, this is our new stretch goal.
Yeah.
It's unlocked. So those are the 2 magnets, which have actually will be available. So
very cool.
Everyone who has backed the physical package will get those. And they're so gorgeous. Alejandro Lee designed them. I told him, I said, let's have fun with the colors this time. And I said, what about like purple and blue? And so he did. And it turned out they're gorgeous.
Yeah, this one on the right. Hold on, let me drink some coffee.
So yeah, we have the Tesla coil and the experimental station.
Just the colors with the yellows coming out of the building, and then like the electric yellow going through the purples. It's just those contrasting colors just really make it pop. So amazing. So he really understands color, I can tell.
Oh yeah. He's a tremendous artist. He does his own series. It's a steampunk all ages, Sally Sprocket and Piston Pete.
Cool.
Yeah, and he does a lot of other things. So yeah, people should check him out. I think I have a link.
Yeah, it looks like his name is a hyperlink. It'll take you probably to his webpage or something.
Yes.
Very cool.
I think it's his page over on DeviantArt. I'm pretty sure.
That's usually where a lot of artists have their portfolios, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But look, people, it says stretch goal number 3 locked. You don't even know how much. I was cracking up and I was like, ooh, that's super secret. But I love it. All right, let's go back up to the top. Super scrolling. All right, now we're back.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at some of these amazing covers. Boston Metaphysical Society, Mystery at Pikes Peak #1. Beautiful.
Yeah, those are Angela's.
Okay. And then this one has gotten so much attention.
Yeah, when you read the issue, all of this makes sense.
Of course. That's what I love, when artists are able to like put a feeling or a synopsis of like what's happening in that issue on the cover. And it's like, I have no idea what this means, but I'm sure once I read it, it will make lots of sense. Angela Wu, man. Bravo.
Yeah, when Troy saw the covers, when I sent them over for him to letter them, he just was like, oh my God. He goes, I literally gasped when he saw these covers. So he said, you must send me her portfolio link. And so I told Angela that she had a new fan.
Yeah, absolutely. He's probably like, whatever you're doing, let me letter it, please. So who will love Boston Metaphysical Society? Fans of Penny Dreadful, Girl Genius, Ruse, steampunk, and gas lamp fantasy stories. People who love to read paranormal, historical fiction, and or alternate history, which is so cool. If you like character-driven comics with a mix of paranormal and science fiction, because who doesn't? And then these comics are for you. So basically, this checks all the buttons. If you like anything in that category, this looks amazing. Here's some pages from the interior. I love just like the feel of it. Beautiful. Don't spill your tea. Wow. Of course, no text boxes. So no spoilers, people.
No spoilers. So yeah, that's the cover of Volume 1 by Roberta Ingranato. That's the original 6-issue miniseries.
Gotcha. Supernatural forces in the late 1800s in Boston. Volume 2. Here you are. Ooh, who's that in the background? Dun, dun, dun. I love this. This is a beautiful cover.
Yeah, that's done by Marguerite Sauvage.
So we have stories in Volume 2. Oh, here's the variant covers, people. First time ever, variant covers. I love it.
Yeah, that's the one by Rio Burton.
Nikola Tesla's station. She's also electrified. Very cool. Look at this. Look at the colors in this, man.
Yeah, that's Steph C. She did a tremendous job.
Why is this lady's eyes green?
Well, that's Caitlin. Well, that's indicative of her psychic abilities.
Oh, okay. Well.
And some other things that I don't want to give away.
I was going to say, don't spoil it. Sometimes I'm like, what's this? And people are like, just read the story.
2 metal cover variants are available. Issue 1 by Rio Burton and Issue 2 by Steph C. Both are available as a reward tier or as an add-on. If you have any questions, please contact me through Kickstarter. Thank you.
That's cool. I like having a little video there. Other rewards. Here's the audio drama.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, a Nikola Tesla coil lapel pin. Fancy. Oh, look down here, the lapel set. Look, everybody. If you're a collector, look. Comes in a
I do have people who've collected all of them, and there's some that we don't do anymore. Like there's an owl pin, which was the first one we ever did, and you're lucky if you have that one because that doesn't exist anymore.
No more. Those would look really cool as cufflinks.
You could probably maneuver them into cufflinks, yeah. And that's a cover of the prequel novel, A Storm of Secrets.
That's a beautiful cover too, man. As the great houses of Boston jockey for power, an ex-Pinkerton detective, his psychic wife, and his father-in-law must contend with treachery, subterfuge, and a new supernatural threat in this political and supernatural thriller set in an alternate history Boston of 1890. Beautiful. This one too.
And that's the Prelude. That's the second edition. I did go through. That's the new cover, and I did go through and re-edit, and everything's reformatted. It was time to freshen that up.
I hear you. We all do that. What other people say? And this is cool too. I would love to do this on my Kickstarter page. I need to. It's just like, here's what people think about, this project. The Boston Metaphysical Society never disappoints. It's amazing. Women and People of Color take center stage in Boston Metaphysical Society, written by Madeline Holly-Rosing, with art by Emily Hugh, inspired by fantasy and the art of storytelling. You use imagination to create a fantastic story that is both well-written and fearless. Ooh, amazing. Got an award there. Best comic graphic novel of 2014.
Yeah, we were a nominee.
I wanted to leave that part out.
That's okay. Hey, a very good friend of mine won, so I was
read it.
I wanted it to be him.
The money where it goes, of course. International shipping. Ooh, VAT tax. Are you doing international shipping? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
55
I have quite a number of international backers.
That's amazing.
I should say non-US backers.
Yes.
That's more correct. Non-US backers.
VAT tax is a beast of its own, people. And of course, there are add-ons. Here's your team. All the lovely people we saw in the video. Look at this. This is beautiful.
That's from Scourge the Mechanical Man. That's Gwen Tavares.
Wow.
That's her, yeah. Her art and coloring.
That would make a really nice bookmark. I want it. Like, okay, Laurie. Campaign cut off. Yep. And then here we are in the stretch goals again.
Yeah.
I like how you not only put the pictures up here, but you gave a little description of each one, you know, so people know what they're looking to get.
What they're looking to get, yeah. Plus, it's also to plug the creators because they were nice enough to contribute.
Right. But I enjoy this, and I think that this is where most creators are going, is this PDF bundle as a stretch goal, because it includes every single backer, whether you're just digital or you're physical. That's as right. Well. Everybody can get that first reward stretch goal, as opposed to if you just do like merch, then it's like, okay, well, if you're a digital, you don't get it, you know, so it's tough. But this is smart.
Yeah, I always like to do this first stretch goal for something that goes to everybody.
Right. And then, of course, we're here to the magnets. So here we are. Let's go look at some of these rewards. Would love to see what people are getting. I'm just going to scroll back to the top because why not? All right. So $10 or more, digital issues 1 and 2. This is a great price. So you get the PDF of issue 1 and 2, so 32 pages each, which is a lot of pages. So of Mystery at Pikes Peak, long before it's available to the public, as well as being listed as a backer on the Kickstarter Thank You All on our website. So that's really cool. So people don't realize it's like $10 for issues, not only issues 1 and 2, but we've already unlocked that stretch goal. So you get 6 additional PDFs for $10.
Yes.
Amazing. Right?
Yep.
Tesla coil pin. Did I skip any? Yes. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. All right, $22, issue 1 and 2 prints. Still a great deal, man. So you get the Woo covers, PDF of issues 1 and 2, includes domestic shipping and your name on the thank you all. We got 33 backers in that one. That's cool.
Yeah, that's actually, we had an early bird the first 48 hours for the same package. So that's, I'm afraid that's gone now.
Yep, that's going to say it's probably all done. $28, the Tesla coil pin. Love pins. Who doesn't? So you get the copies, you get the coil pin and the PDF, the domestic postage, and your name on the thank you. Well, 45 backers there. Amazing. Digital bundle, comics only. Run out of shelf space. Isn't that an understatement? I think we're all like, look at all my comics. Where I'm going to put all my comics are all over the place. This package is for you. PDF. The PDF Boston Metaphysical Society 1 is 156 pages. Volume 1, excuse me. PDF of Boston Metaphysical Society Volume 2, 176 pages. Oh my Lord. PDF of Mystery at Pikes Peak number 1 and number 2. And of course your name on that, the thank you wall. That goes for all of them, I'm sure. But yes. Wow. That's amazing. That's so many pages and pages and pages for $32 is amazing. Plus all the additional PDFs that were unlocked. 11 backers there. Issues 1 and 2 plus Burton variant. That's really cool. Because I'm that way too, where I have trouble choosing variants. I mean, I'm like, I want this one and I want this one, but I also want the 2A, I want the A cover. So this is great for that person that's like myself, who you want all the things. So you get issues 1 and 2 print, a print copy of the variant, and then of course the PDF, and so on and so forth. So 7 backers there.
And at this point, since it's a physical reward, they're also going to get the magnets.
Right. So they're getting not only just the PDF stretch goal, but the magnets as well. That's really cool. Extra merch, people. 35 for our hardworking trades folk. Yes. Special retail package. Retail, 5 copies of the Woo covers of 1, 5 copies Woo cover of number 2. Yes, that's your retail package. Very good. And of course, your name. $36, only $1 more is the starter kit. Are you new to Boston Metaphysical Society and just want a taste of what this is all about? This combo of our original 6-issue miniseries in trade paperback and the prequel novel, A Storm of Secrets, will give you the foundation of the universe and introduce you to the main characters without breaking the bank. So nice. So, like you said, this is the starter kit. This gives people a very good idea of what's happening in the world with just, it's the trade paperback, correct? And then the novella.
Yeah, volume 1 trade paperback and the novel. Yeah.
Thank you. I was like, you tell them, But that's interesting too. I'm looking at that one. $40. I love how yours are so affordable, and you give everybody all these options to really customize what they want. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you can do this, you can do that. Everything is laid out for people just to make it very simple and easy to back. So print issues 1 and 2 with the variant PDF. Start getting into all these bundles. Oh my Lord. Digital bundle, comics and prose. So woo! PDF. Look at 156 pages, 176 pages, and then issue 1, issue 2. Is it issue 1? Yeah, issue 1 and 2. PDF of A Storm of Secrets and Prelude. Dang. I'm just blown away by how much, how many things people get for like $40, for $42. That's amazing. All 4 covers. Can't decide. Think get all 4. That's me. Get all the things, all the print covers. Why not?
That's a good choice.
Yeah, because you will love them. Lapel pin set. So all 7 of the pins. Wow. In a lovely gift box. And then, of course, comics. That's a great one, too. New to the series, here's the graphic novel package. It's so cool. It's like you can package not only just like the comics, you can package the graphic novels, you can package the novellas and you know what I mean? So it's, like I said, it's really customizable, which is cool. $63 premium digital package. You get, oh my gosh, all the things, plus a download of all the audio drama. Wow.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that the download through me is without commercials and contains commentary,
which is way better. Then you don't have to sit in through, the general selling you auto insurance. Those commercials. Anyway, nothing but books. $100. Wow. This package is for those who like the feel of in their hands. People laugh, but it's like, not only do a lot of people love the smell of comics.
Yes.
It's the smell, you know what I mean? That reminds us of our childhood. My husband smells baseball cards. I smell comics and books. And it's weird because one of my daughters does this as well, where she's just like, smell this book, Mama. I'm like, okay, like she just got that gene where she wants to smell the books. But this is amazing. The feel and so all of the things, holy moly. This is amazing for $100. Wow. And 11 people agree with me. Wow. And then we have the audio drama package. Ooh, we start getting signed copies. Love audio drama. Of course we do. Metal covers, issue 1 and 2 for $115. That's it. Wow. That's kind of underpriced. I would charge more for that. That's a deal. That's a steal. That is. Oh, the ultimate package, $175. The ultimate package, a signed copy, a signed copy. Is there a kitchen sink in here, Madeline? I want to know.
Yeah, not quite. It does not include the metal variants.
Oh, so, I mean, you could throw a kitchen sink into there and that would be funny.
Actually, I should say that everything comes signed.
It's amazing.
Everything.
All done. Here's the early bird, people. 198 backers. There you go for $18. Wow. Print issues 1 and 2. PDF of issue 1 and 2 includes domestic shipping. A name on the thank you. Wow, that is a steal, and that's why it's no longer available, people. I can see why 198 people jumped on that. That's amazing. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, so excited. Whew. That was a trip. That was a trip.
Yeah, it's just like reviewing all that. You have you have no idea how many times. Actually, you probably do. If you're driving around a Kickstarter, how many times you go through it and just make sure, and then you have to do the back end. And
yeah.
Thank you, London Gothic.
He kind of has an interesting take on London that's similar to yours. So he has like a story that's like alternate fiction,
Cool.
alternate history. So you have a fan in London Gothic.
Yeah,
I'm on the same brainwave.
I'm on the other side of the pond. That's
exactly,
all.
but
Doing
so
the
you're
American
showing brainwaves across the pond.
Well, when I first started this, it became, well, originally the TV pilot I wrote was not steampunk. I think it was called like 1900 Detective Agency, and it was more like a Mulder and Scully in the late 1800s, but without aliens.
Right.
And, yeah, without aliens. And then a friend of mine at film school suggested I turn it into a steampunk type world. Yeah. And I'd heard of steampunk, didn't know a lot about it, did my research, agreed with him eventually, and so redeveloped it, came up with a new title, because I wanted a title that evoked the time period. And, but thing is, I didn't want British steampunk, because at the time, all steampunk was Victorian England.
Yeah.
All Victorian England. It's basically in the last decade, you've seen it, all sorts of multicultural, set in Africa, set in Asia, some folks you'll call it like silk punk. I mean, there's so many different takes on it now, which is just wonderful. And if you ever, there's a series called The Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. It's a novel series that's quite long. I actually listened to the audiobook, it's marvelous. And it's falls under the category of silk punk. Cool. And, he brings in some technology. It's just, it's fantastic. So, if you like that sort of thing, I highly recommend it. But, yeah, I wanted the American take on it, but based on, specifically American culture. And, for many, we have a class system here, even though we don't like to talk about it. We do. And so I created a society that had a very rigid social structure. And oh, he says, I think I would be described as gore punk. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we're going to have a whole show with Nick from London Gothic too. So we'll dive into that.
But yeah, I actually have a degree in US politics. Nice. That's what I did my BA in. And so, that's why it is. It's, like Storm of Secrets, it's a political thriller. That's really with paranormal elements involved. And the steampunk aspect it's more steampunk-ish. Mm-hmm. Because everything is about the characters and not the gadgets. The gadgets are an integral part of the world. So they're just organically part of it. Right. And, there's, like I said, pretty hard and fast social structure, caste system. But Samuel Hunter, who's the ex-Pinkerton detective, straddles those worlds because he came from what I would call middle district, middle class family, but he married into a great house. And for those who haven't read any of this, I don't want to give away spoilers.
Right.
That changed the dynamic. So he kind of straddles both of it.
Yeah.
And but because of his privilege, quite frankly, he is able to create a space where outliers like him can thrive, which is why Granville and he are partners, and he brought in Caitlin and eventually Alma, because all of these people are pushing societal envelopes.
Interesting. That's cool.
And he has created it pretty much probably, unwittingly on his part, because this is just who he is. He didn't actually think about doing this. He just likes to work with good people who he can trust, who are smart. And so he's, I like to put it, he's the Kirk to Granville's Spock and Caitlin's McCoy.
Are there red shirts? Just wondering. Don't answer that. No, I don't want to spoilers.
Not so much. I see London got it. Can you get it in the UK? Obviously, all the digital ones you can, but I do ship. I ship to the UK. I have quite a number of UK backers, so it gets shipped there. And which you probably didn't really notice, I do get discounted shipping through Pirate Ship, so it's a lot cheaper than you using USPS, and I give that discount to backers, and hopefully that shall help offset the VAT, because that I can't do anything about that. Yeah, unfortunately, I have no control over that, but I have been able to get vastly reduced shipping. Literally, the larger the package, the more savings you have.
That's cool.
It's pretty amazing, and it's worked out very, very well. Things have arrived. I think there was only once there was one weird screw up, and I just took care of that.
Yeah.
If there's screw ups, I take care of it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yep. Yeah. That's all you can do. We're like, make them happy.
No, absolutely. I've had people here in the US where USPS refuses to deliver to wherever they're out. They live out in the boonies somewhere. They won't deliver. And
they're in the 10 feet of snow in the mountains. That's where they are.
No, sometimes it's just in an off-beaten place or whatever's going on. And so the package comes back to me. So then I send it out either by FedEx or UPS, and it arrives.
That's weird.
Yeah, another guy. Yeah, that just sometimes we run into these problems with USPS, and I just said hey, can you get UPS or something or FedEx? And they said, yeah. And I said, okay. And they said, do you want me to pay extra shipping? I'm like,
nah.
I'm going to get it to you. So
that's what you got to do, man. Yep. Make the people happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's my job. It's called good customer service.
Yes. Yep. 100%.
But I mean, like London Gothic was talking, I mean, that's why we have the different digital packages, because I understand shipping's a bear, it's expensive, and you can always, yeah.
Yep, that's why the digital packages are so nice. It's because you have it. You don't have to wait, and you don't have to. It doesn't show up half destroyed and wet and chewed up by something, blown away.
Oh yeah, I remember during the pandemic, I had shipped 2 larger packages to France, and they were in boxes. All of the large packages, they go in boxes. They go into serious boxes that you need to, run over with a truck to do something to. And and it took, my God, I think 6, 7, 8 months. and I actually put in, you know, lost in the US for USPS to find them, which, by the way, is a real pain, because you have to, if you've ever done that, you have to put in invoices, you have to put in, oh my God, it takes an hour just to get it done. But then all of a sudden it was like they had gone through customs and then just had sat there
Yeah. Yep.
for months and months. And then it was like in France, they had gotten to the back of the warehouse and like, oh, there's 2 packages here. And they
How
were
long have these been here? Oh, 8 months. Oh, good.
Yeah. And then they were both delivered like on the same day.
That's
And I went like,
Happy
yay,
Thanksgiving.
yay, you got it, yay. I was so happy, yay. And I said,
Yeah.
is everything okay? Is everything? And they said, no, everything's perfect. Everything looks beautiful. And I'm like, yay.
Uh-oh. Thank goodness for that. I've had people being like, oh, did you ship me something? Because apparently USPS lost a package with my name on it. And I was like, no. It's like, we shipped out before, or we haven't shipped yet. Like, that's a nightmare, just being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just remember one time I sent something certified a while ago, and I had the receipt for it, and then I had to check on delivery, and they were like, we delivered it. And I'm like, when? And they're like, we don't know. Like, what is the point of paying for certified if you're not even going to record when you delivered it or who signed for it or anything? Because they usually ship you back the second half of that green card thingy.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't have it. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's quite true. And what some people don't realize, I have a small post office here. And when I start shipping, I actually go down ahead of time and have a conversation with them. But the problem is that their managers, they get a different manager like every day. It's so bizarre. So one person I've talked to is gone the next time I come. And so I do arrange for the post guy to come and pick up. And he'll say like, oh, well, can I come during my run? I said, you're not going to have room in your truck. You're going to have to come afterwards. And they went like, oh, really? I said, no, really. I have like 100 or so packages here, and they're like this and this and this. And they said, okay. And so they're really nice. Our regular guy will come, and then I'll dolly down everything.
And I bet you the first time you did it, he was like, what the heck? And you're like, I got butt. He's like, what am I doing right now?
Well, one time the manager actually came because I guess I don't know what happened, but he showed up and he says, okay. And he was smart. He actually, because we have a long driveway that goes down. And so he actually pulled up and we loaded things up. But they're like so appreciative that I actually helped him bring everything down.
Yeah.
And here you go. And everything was ready. And we just line up the boxes in our tool room and just have them ready to go with the dollies. And I've actually had like a trunk full and showed up, and they said, oh no, you can come and we'll just give you a big bin. And they don't help you, by the way.
They just stand there and watch, like, really?
Yeah. So I get the bin and I load everything in. And so suddenly this bin is now really heavy, and then you're pushing it up the ramp. They're just looking at you.
Come
on. But actually the point I was getting to is whenever I ship that way, either I deliver in mass or they pick up, they don't scan at the local post office. It goes to one of the major distribution centers to be scanned. And sometimes one doesn't get scanned.
Yeah.
And so I'm like looking, because I keep a list. I look, and now I check. And I said, well, okay, I'm going to wait 2 weeks, because what I've discovered is sometimes it won't get scanned going out, but it'll get scanned at delivery. And then all of a sudden it will pop up delivered. Like,
okay. Like, this is super unhelpful, but I'm glad that it gets there, but still it's like.
Yeah. But I give it, I always give it a couple weeks for domestic because some goes out media mail, some goes out parcel select, some goes out priority. It really depends on what's in the box, where it's going.
Yeah.
And you know, we go from there. So but yeah, it's shipping and fulfillment is always fun.
I love you. That's hilarious.
but they've been really, let's just say that my local post office appreciates the clerks because they're the ones who actually have to deal with it. That I come in and say, hey, this is what's going to happen next week.
Right.
I want to give you the heads up. How would you like me to do this? And they tell me, I said, okay, I'll call the guy. When I got over 50 packages, I'm going to call the guy to come do a pickup. And then it goes straight out to the Santa Clarita Distribution Center to be scanned. Because oddly enough, they told me, I think they said after 5 o'clock, they can't scan anything in the local post office. It has to go to the major distribution center.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a little random. They just close the doors?
No, they just dump
it.
They dump it in the back of the truck and off it goes.
Drive it over there.
Somewhere out there. And then you just have to go.
Oh. Oh, goodness.
But
that's funny.
99% of it works out. There's always a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's to be expected. It's just statistics.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's nothing you can do to get around someone's. It's the human element. Someone's going to make a mistake somewhere. It just happens.
Yeah.
We'll just fix it. Move on. Fix it and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely.
Goodness. What did I want to do? Oh, I wanted to ask you about your artist team because you've worked with so many different artists. How do you go through the process of picking them, or how do I want to say this? Are they under contract for a certain amount of issues or time, or is it just see who's available for the next project?
They're all under contract for, like, Elizabeth is under contract for the 4 issues. Elizabeth is under contract. I mean, Angela is under contract for the 4 covers. And then obviously Rio and Steph were just the 1 variant covers. And they were also everyone's under contract for whatever they're going to do, for whatever they're going to get paid, how they're going to get paid, all of that. That's just legal stuff that needs to be done to protect the IP.
Of course.
And I recommend that to everyone. But as finding them, I never put out like a notice like looking for artists, because man, I'm not going to deal with that, with the onslaught, because one, I'm looking for female artists, or female identifying, and then I have to go through their work. And then there's some women who come to me, so like, hey, I might be available. I used to send me your portfolio, and I'll take a look, and it's not quite the style I'm looking for. They're just, and I can't even put a finger on it. I'm not sure I could verbally tell you what I'm looking for. I just know when I see it.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I was like, hey, you're great. And they usually are, but it's just simply not a style that fits Boston Metaphysical. And so I'll say like, hey, you're great. It doesn't quite fit what I'm looking for, but are you okay with me putting you on a list for pinups or variants in the future? And of course they're going to say like, yeah. And so that's, for me, that's a great way to keep a list of people to go back to later if I need something else.
Right. Absolutely.
And I've gone through, I go through portfolios, man. I spend a lot of time going through portfolios and contacting people. And so much of it has to do with just scheduling. And part of it's just the luck of the draw. I mean, I found Elizabeth and I found her. I went back to her, and then I talked to somebody else, and they couldn't do it because of scheduling. And I went back to Elizabeth. I'm like, and then because I'm going like, do we, because she's a really interesting style, and then it began to like grow on me, and then I talked to someone else who had worked with her previously. They said, how does she work to turn in time, blah, blah, the usual stuff. And they loved her. And so I approached her, and the rest is history. So, I go through quite a bit to find the people I want. And, even though you may be technically the second or third or fourth on the list, that doesn't mean you're any less. It's just the process,
right,
of getting there. And Elizabeth really brings the right feel to Boston Metaphysical, and I've really been enjoying her work, and she's bringing new things to it, which I love, and I love her creativity. And Katie is been her coloring, because I asked Elizabeth, I said, who would you recommend as a colorist for your art? And she goes, well, Katie Brown. I found she does justice to my work. So I went and looked at Katie's, and I went like, oh yeah. Katie's really, yeah.
That's awesome.
Right. She's absolutely right. And so I talked to Katie, and, worked it out with her, and yes, and Katie's under contract as well. So,
of course.
And it's been really interesting. I've actually learned a lot working with Katie. It's been very interesting, because she asks really good questions when I'm like, I hadn't thought of that. Right.
Can you give me an example that you can, without spoilers, I'm just curious.
Well, it has to do with lighting, because she asked, like, okay, where is the lighting coming from? And I'm like, well, I thought it was, and so we had a discussion, and she says, okay, we can do it this way. And so it actually makes me really think more about lighting now. So when I wrote the later scripts, it was like, note to Katie, the lighting is coming from, so it's really clear for her, and she's not asking like, where is it coming from?
But if you understand their process, that helps them speed up. If you already know, like, okay, this is what she's looking for, put it in the script, right?
And there were certain pages with Caitlin's visions that we needed to have a very distinct look to, so the reader would understand that this is a vision. And we went through about 4 or 5 different variations, because I knew once we settled on one, that would be the one. And so that would echo throughout the rest. But it took going through these various renditions to get to the final one. And she worked pretty hard on that one. But now we know, and she doesn't have to do that again. We already know where that's going and how that look is going to be.
That's you kind of have to. It's like when I have not really steampunk, but I have like technology that's only in my world specific because of what's happening. So same kind of thing. You go through like multiple renditions, because like as soon as we pinpoint it, that's going to be for the rest of the series. So it has to be right. So you spend a lot of time making sure that that's what you're comfortable with, that visually makes sense for the viewer. And then, once you're happy with that, it's like, okay, we can move forward now.
But it's been very interesting, because we're not in Boston, we're out in the West. This is a whole different visual. I was very happy to Rio, who did the first variant cover, is actually from Colorado. So she was like, ooh,
Yeah.
So that worked out really well.
The blimp from your preview pages, is that pretty accurate to what Colorado Springs looks like?
Sort of, kind of.
Artistic liberty, people.
Yeah, artistic liberty. But it's when you get into town, we try to make it look. I sent Elizabeth images of what the town looked like in the late 1800s and like 1890s, and so you get as close as you can. It's not going to be perfect,
right?
And what's interesting is you wouldn't realize how like how many electrical poles were up at the time. There's a ton of them. There were a ton, and you were like, is this accurate? Like, yeah, actually it is.
Yeah.
And they had the cool glass insulators, which antique dealers covet. My brother used to collect them because they used to be up in northern California, up in the Pacific Northwest. They had them. In fact, people used to steal those, which would make the power companies crazy.
Oh God!
And this was decades ago. The people now they don't have them anymore. I don't know what they make out of them now, but yeah.
So I won't see one of those in your living room.
No, I don't have one of those. I don't know if my brother has anymore either. So I think he may have sold them all back in the day.
That's funny. Collector's items, right?
Yes.
Up on eBay. Well, I dropped all the links in the chat, so we have links to the Kickstarter. If people haven't been there already, I'm sure they have, because we were watching during the feed and there was numbers going up. Of course, your website with all the link, all of the books and material are there. And of course, your Facebook information. So for Boston Metaphysical, Society comic, people can follow along. So you're on Facebook. Is there any other social media that you're currently on that you would like to promote?
I am on Instagram. It's MC Holly1. But I kind of use that more for fun more than anything. I do post stuff about the comic, but I kind of focus on Facebook and Twitter because I just, you can't be on everything.
Yeah, trust me, I know. It's like usually you're on them, but it's like you're really good at one of them. That's where your people are, and like
yeah.
The other ones are just kind of there where you're like, hey, I'm here. People are like, great. You're like, but follow me in this one because this is where all the stuff actually happens, right?
Yeah.
So for you, that's the Facebook and the Twitter.
Facebook
do me a favor, put your Twitter handle in the private chat, and I'll put it in the group so people can follow you there as well.
Okay.
Because I will follow you for sure. Ta-da.
That's right. I hope that's right. I'll go.
I'll let you know later today. I'll be like, this doesn't work, or hey, we're following, hooray!
Go look at my profile. Yeah, that should be right.
Okay, cool. Well, we can find you on Twitter as long as people just look up I think the last part, the M Holly-Rosing. I'm sure it will pull you up. We'll find you.
Yeah, or type in Boston Metaphysical.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That will pop up too. Cool. So we can definitely follow along your amazing career and journey that you've been going on for what, 10? You said 10 years?
It's 10 years. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, I mean, for someone like myself, who's been in this for like a year, maybe close to a year, what kind of advice would you have for someone like myself who's just starting on that path?
Make sure you get enough sleep.
Check.
Choose your partners wisely. Don't try to rush into anything, and don't overextend yourself. One of the mistakes I do see with new creators is I forgot to unplug the phone.
You have a house phone?
From Berkeley WC.
Who dat?
I have no idea. Block the call. it was so early in the morning. Usually I disconnect everything and.
Yeah. Well, you're on Pacific time too, so it's like super early for you. Oh my goodness.
Oh, we start getting spam calls early in the morning. But yeah, sorry, I got distracted there.
Don't overextend.
Don't overextend. Oh yeah, and one of the things I see is they're like, oh, I've got a comic. I have one issue. Let's get t-shirts. Let's get mugs. Let's get tchotchke. Let's get everything. And like, stop! Don't start throwing all your money into that. Just focus on the product itself, putting out a quality product, and then slowly build on that, because it also won't damage you financially too, because you don't want to be stuck with a bunch of t-shirts you're never going to unload or tchotchkes you're never going to unload. It's we've done a very slow build over the years, and part of that because for most of this I was also still working part-time, and there's only so much you can do in the day and get things done. And also I was working on other projects as well. So yeah, little bit at a time. If Kickstarter is not your thing, that's okay. I have a fun story. Many years ago, as you know, I wrote Kickstarter for the Independent Creator, which is now in its second edition. And I had a gentleman at a WonderCon. He came and bought the book on a Friday night. He came back the next morning. He'd read it, and he said, "I'm never going to run a Kickstarter." And I said, that was the best $10 you ever spent, because now you know what is required. And if you don't want to do that, because it's a second full-time job.
Right. It is.
It is. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. Yeah. But now you haven't spent all the time and emotional energy and the thought of doing something that you hated.
Yeah. And that's what people I think are not prepared for, is how much time and effort goes into these things, from the pre-planning all the way through the end of campaign through fulfillment. It's a lot of time commitment and putting yourself out there and promotion. And not everybody wants to do that. So
yeah, no, it is. And if you have the wherewithal to self-fund, which is fine, putting a little money away, every month to pay your artist and your colorist, you can go ahead and do that. Sure, it's going to take longer, but that may be the way for you.
Right.
I mean, crowdfunding is not for everybody, and that's not saying something terrible.
No.
It's just what it is. And and you shouldn't feel bad about like, oh, everyone else is crowdfunding, I should crowdfund. It's like, no, if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Well, and I find myself in the category of like pulling from column A, B, and C. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff is self-funded. So usually like the pages that we put together to put on the Kickstarter page, I'm paying for myself. And then we Kickstarter the issue, as much as we can get. And then anything outside of that, I'm selling books and I'm promoting, and I'm going to LCSs and doing cons. So it's just, you can pull from multiple streams as well to promote. And I think that doing all of those things is a full-time job. And it's just, you can pick and choose your level of involvement.
Yes, absolutely. And not freak out over it. But people who are interested in crowdfunding, there's a lot of help out there. Obviously there's my book. Russell Nolte has a Kickstarter accelerator program, and he has books as well. Tyler James from Comics Launch. I mean, he's fantastic. And I learn stuff from him all the time. And just going and getting on Kickstarter and studying campaigns and what's out there.
That's kind of what I did when I first started. I was like, okay, here's what I'm trying to do. Here's how I'm going to model, this many pages, black and white or color. etc. You know what I mean? And then I went and looked at, like, I don't know, 25 different Kickstarters, looked at their reward levels. How much were they pricing things at? What stretch goals were they including?
Yes.
How many reward tiers did they have? You know, did I feel overwhelmed by the amount of choices I had? Or was it simple and it was just like, you get this, 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 and this? You know, it just, there's so many different ways to run a Kickstarter, the add-ons or no add-ons or whatever, that you kind of have to find what works best for you and your title. But again, it's like, you may try something and it does. I'm still, like you said, I am still learning as well. I love variant covers. I like I've been doing them since the beginning, but what I haven't been doing is bragging about the fabulous artists that are putting them together. People didn't realize that in my last campaign, I had one of the guys that did the cover was an inker for Batman series back in the 90s. Like, he was big name in DC and has inked for Marvel. And it's like, I'm like, here's this guy and he's great. But it's like, people don't realize, like, all. So in what I've learned is this campaign, when I release a variant, it's like, this is this person and these are all the cool things that they've done. Not only that, you can follow them here. You know what I mean? So being able to cross promote an artist, but people understand the value in that variant cover as well, or why they're included in the project. So we'll see if that does help, but this is something I think needs to be done, right?
Yeah. No, it's like I said, I still go and study other people's. I still go. I mean, there's always something new to learn, something to up your game. One of these days I'm going to go and revise, do a 3rd edition of Kickstarter the Independent Creator if I have time. But I'm afraid that's like way at the back.
Yeah.
That's not a high priority item right now.
Right. We still want more fiction from you, please. Kickstarter, yeah, there's resources out there, and your book is probably wonderful, but we also like what your fictional stories are. The masses have spoken, right?
There you go.
The masses have spoken. Go to Kickstarter, you guys. This is hugely successful, and for a reason, because the art is beautiful. The story is top notch. This is at the peak. This is the pinnacle of what you can find in independent. Absolutely go back this today. Find a level. There's so many reasonably priced reward levels in here. I went through them all. They're amazing. If you're a collector, if you're into comics, if you're into audio drama, this thing has it all. So go check it out. Go click on the link to the Kickstarter. Take some time to browse around and see what you like, and help breathe this to life. This is what independents need, is this kind of support to keep going. It's so important to support indie, because we're different, we're new. It's a concept that you're not going to see regurgitated in, mainstream media. If you want that new and exciting story, this is where it is, guys. Go back indie, 100%. I know you all feel me, right? Follow Madeline. Follow her Twitter. Follow her. You can sign up for her newsletter on her website. You can go scroll through all the other titles that she has put together. She has a vast body of work for you to kind of dig in and enjoy. I really enjoyed having you on here today.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
And I would very much love to keep in touch with you, being that you are so well established, and for someone like myself who aspires to be like you someday. So,
well, thank you. I am honored. except for the fact that your office is going to end up looking like this.
I'm okay with that. I've already taken over my kids' room. Look behind. That's all right. They wanted to share a room, so they're both in the same room for now. I don't know how long that'll last, but
okay.
But yeah, I took over their room because they didn't want it. So mine, it'll be full of supplies shortly, I'm sure. But yeah, absolutely, everybody support, and thank you again, Madeline, for being on.
you.
And I look forward to picking your brain and hanging out with you in the future.
Absolutely.
Any last words?
Go get on the campaign because we do have some limited reward tiers before they go away. We are live until March 30th. Technically, it's March 31st, but it's in the morning, so I say March 30th. Yeah. It's just easier for everybody. And have fun looking through the rewards. We have some beautiful stuff for you.
Very cool. I'm so excited to go shop. All right, everybody. Thank you again, Madeline. I'm going to put you in the bag. And thank you, everybody, for watching today. I love the outpouring and first thing when we get on. Remember to go sign up for Path of the Pale Rider. I'll drop my link in there as well. Issue number 3 is going to Kickstarter on March 20th. Make sure you're signed up because those things are going to go. Like Madeline said, like that stuff doesn't hang around for long. And again, I could use your support. I love you all, and I will see you next week.
Hey friends, Morgan Quaid here to tell you about a little project called The Crimson Folly, a D&D inspired comic anthology which takes place in a fantasy tavern called, you guessed it, The Crimson Folly. I'm working with more than a dozen artists from all over the world to bring this story to life through sequential comic artwork, intricate portrait pieces, sketches, and of course, words! My aim is to produce a combined comic story and art book. The first 40 pages will be a comic book telling the main story of the folly and using different artists to build out each section of the story. The art book will then contain sketches and short stories relating to characters from that story. So if you're a fan of D&D, fantasy artwork, comics, or just great storytelling, you'll love The Crimson Folly. Yes, you will.
How do you end this thing? How do you put the there was the brakes on this bus? I forgot.
Jazz
how to drive.
hands. Jazz hands.
Have a good night.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit CB4.